I'm William Kumwembe. Hello and welcome to Business Time here on Times Television. This is a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. And in the program today, World Bank tells Malawi to transform and adopt less donor-dependent programs to help break poverty cycle. And Eskom posts 6.3 billion kwacha loss in first half. We have these and other stories.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
In our first story today, with Malawi's poverty levels remaining persistently high at about 50%, the World Bank says the country needs to transform its social safety nets and adopt less donor-dependent programs to help break the cycle of poverty. In its Malawi Economic Monitor, released on Thursday, titled Realizing Safety Nets Potential, the bank observed that although the social safety net sector in Malawi has all the components necessary to facilitate transformative change, the country requires critical shifts in policy, institutional and investment priorities. Our reporter Chimwemwe Mangazi witnessed the launch of the Economic Monitor and has the detail in this report.
The World Bank launched the Malawi Economic Monitor report, which is the 7th edition in Lilongwe, titled Realizing Safety Nets Potential. The report notes that adverse weather shocks coupled with weak public financial management and distorted agricultural incentives exacerbate fiscal pressure and constrain Malawi's capacity to respond to shocks. World Bank Country Manager Greg Tomin emphasized that there is need for the government to focus on translating the economic gains into improvements in the people's way of life.
The key message that I hope people will take away is, as we were just discussing, the fact that the more certainty, the more predictability you can create in people's lives, the better able they are to plan and the better able they are then to take advantage of the economic opportunities that may be available to them, and that social protection programs provide a very important way to help people have that greater predictability. And so going forward, we see there as being a real opportunity to move towards a more comprehensive approach to social protection that will help Malawi, help the people of Malawi begin to take charge of their lives. There are recommendations which will be familiar to people who've read previous editions. The first one is the continuing importance of a strong macroeconomic position, ensuring that the economy continues to have a low inflation, stable exchange rate. Secondly, that there are some constraints to realizing the growth potential of the economy, and it's important to think about those. Energy is the one that people continue to talk about, and I think it is an absolutely critical constraint. One of the things that comes out of the El Niño report is that given that these kind of events are becoming more common, Malawi needs to think about ways to be better prepared for such events, and that the National Resilience Strategy provides a very good framework within which the country can become more prepared for such events if that framework is implemented. And so what's important is to take the ideas in the National Resilience Strategy and ensure they're translated into action on the ground. And this means things like looking at how roads are designed so that if there is a flood, the road will survive the passage of the flood rather than being swept away by it, or ensuring that schools are located in places where they won't be destroyed by floods, or things like that. There's an awful lot that can be done in that way, so that while one can't prevent the event itself, one can ensure that the impacts of the event are greatly reduced.
Tomin further highlighted that the report found that access to finance and energy challenges continue to stifle businesses, let alone growth of the Malawi economy. For Times in Lilongwe, I am Chimwemwe Mangazi.
The Electricity Supply Corporation of Malawi, ESCOM, has posted a loss of 6.3 billion kwacha in the half-year ended December 31st, 2017, the Minister of Finance has said. The development comes as the corporation is struggling to give Malawians power all day, every day. We have the detail in this report.
In its 2018 economic report released on Monday, Treasury has attributed ESCOM's poor financial performance to a deferred 6.72% tariff adjustment, which was supposed to be effected in November 2016, as well as the increase in electricity tariffs by electricity generation company Genco from 19 kwacha per kilowatt hour to 25 kwacha per kilowatt hour. Treasury has also attributed ESCOM's loss to the cost of hiring diesel generators from Agreco Projects International Limited, which were purchased at an average price of 191.88 million kwacha. The Minister of Finance says following these developments, the current liabilities of ESCOM have been increasing higher than the current assets, thereby resulting in a liquidity squeeze for ESCOM as shown by the current ratio, which went down to 1.88 to 1 in 2016-2017 from 2.5 to 1 reported in 2015-2016. Treasury says this position is projected to go further down to 1.46 to 1 at the close of the 2017-2018 financial year. Consequently, the working capital for ESCOM has also declined to 21.4 billion kwacha in 2016-2017 from 34.8 billion kwacha in 2015-2016, and prospects indicate that it will further decline to 16.4 billion kwacha by the close of the 2017-2018 financial year. Treasury says ESCOM recorded a decrease in trade receivable days to 98 days in 2016-2017 from 101 days in 2015-2016, and a further decline in 86 days is expected by June 2018. This, according to Treasury, is largely attributed to the installation of prepaid meters. The Minister of Finance, however, says ESCOM's debt-to-equity position worsened to 298% as at December 2017 from 181% in June 2017 and 1.07% in June 2016, implying that ESCOM is employing more debt to finance its operations than equity. According to the annual economic report, the Minister of Finance says this is not sustainable and dangerous as the equity base has completely been consumed with debt. According to the annual report, prospects to June 30 indicate that ESCOM will register a profit after tax of only 149.1 million kwacha. The power producer has since applied to Capitol Hill seeking a 58 billion kwacha bailout, which Treasury has since turned down. ESCOM chairperson Tom Mpinganjira said the power utility is struggling due to inefficiencies. Mpinganjira said ESCOM was not supposed to be in this position, but has found itself in a financial squeeze due to mismanagement. He said in February 2018, ESCOM had a surplus of 18 billion kwacha, but now faces a deficit of over 50 billion kwacha due to bad procurement decisions. Responding to ESCOM's request for a bailout, Secretary to Treasury Ben Botolo said government has no money. Botolo said if Treasury bails out ESCOM, it would collapse the economy as Capitol Hill has no money. He said the proposed bailout would force government to print money, a move that would have huge consequences on the fiscus. From Blantyre, this is Tawanga Sabola.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
The Malawi Stock Exchange has projected a further jump in trading activity on the local bourse in the wake of its dematerialization drive. Among others, the drive has seen MSC phasing out physical share certificates for electronic ones. More in this report.
MSE Chief Executive Officer John Kamanga said in an interview the outlook of the market is positive. Kamanga said dematerialization would help improve efficiency and effectiveness of the market. He said so far the bourse has registered good progress in the establishment of an automated trading system.
We have gone through the press in terms of the dematerialization of actually the shares from actually paper to electronic. Very soon we'll be also going through the audio as well as the electronic. That is based on the radios as well as on the TV, trying to educate the general public, especially the investors in these public listed companies, on how they can actually dematerialize their shareholding by visiting actually the brokers. And in fact, this message is also part and parcel of reaching out to the general public, that the general public should contact their brokers, and once they go to the brokers, they should be able actually to fill the form and then dematerialize their holding from the paper to the paperless. In fact, we have done quite a lot. We have trained the brokers in terms of the trading, which we just finished last week, and they were almost on course. We are now doing the configuration of the ATS, actually talking to what we call the CSD, the Central Share Depository, which is the custody, and that in itself is like the holding, the transfer secretary, but it is on electronic form. So it is that configuration of the ATS, which is the trading machine, to the custodian, which is actually the holder of the securities in electronic format. Once this is done, we believe that by first or second week of June, we should be going live in terms of the trading using the electronic trading system. In fact, we have seen lots of activity on the stock market. One of the issues one would look at in terms of the stock market does not operate actually on an island on itself. You find that at least if you look at the macroeconomic fundamentals, one, in terms of the investment aspect vis-a-vis the money market, we have seen that interest rates in the money market have been quite stagnant to the extent that they're going down, they're within about 14% or less. And that in itself, we've seen some of the institutional investors as well as retail investors actually trying to realign themselves by actually getting more returns on the capital market, that is investing in the stock market. Like last year, we saw that at least there was good returns of about 62%. And even this year, we've seen that at least the returns on the stock market, especially having actually seen the results of some of the listed companies, you have seen that most of the companies which have actually released their results, they're posting good results. That in itself, it has also attracted more investors coming into the stock market. In so doing, you find that at least more and more investors coming in, that has actually transcended into having more activities on the stock market.
The MSC boss said last year the market recorded a return on index of about 62%, with a projected rise this year on the basis of stability and key macroeconomic fundamentals.
Remember, this is Business Time here on Times Television, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. My name is William Kumwembe. We'll be right back.
Now you can access the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times newspapers anytime, anywhere, by the click of a mouse or a swipe on your smartphone. With eTimes, right on your mobile gadget. Flip through the pages with a swipe or a click. Navigate through all pages and see clear pictures and designs. Access a database of previous papers of the Daily Times, Malawi News, and the Sunday Times. Easy. Subscribe now to eTimes. Go to www.times.mw/e-edition. Sign up and log in. Enter your password and enjoy the newspaper. It's about time.
Welcome back. India has opened up a potential market for Malawi mangoes, a move seen to likely improve the country's export base. Meanwhile, the Malawi Confederation of Chambers of Commerce and Industry, MCCCI, says the move is ideal for local farmers. The chamber's head of communications is Mili Kasunda.
We are receiving a sizable number of patrons, and people are also attending the activities that we had put in place, for example, workshops, presentations, and as well as business-to-business meetings. And in the coming days, we will have presentations from, some of them will come from the UNECO, one from Competition and Fair Trading Commission. So we are actually urging patrons and their business captains to avail themselves and attend these workshops. Further to that, yesterday we had a special visit by the Indian High Commissioner, and he was interested in those businesses in steel and in leather. At night we had a dinner that was organized by the Indian High Commissioner, where he informed us that the Indian government has accepted a proposal from Malawi Mangoes to export fresh mangoes to India. So that's very good news that Malawi will start exporting mangoes to India. Further to that, the High Commissioner also informed us that the Indian government is going to construct an international convention center in Blantyre. As you know that we do not really have a convention center in Blantyre.
And as we proceed with the program, let us now have a look at how the Malawi kwacha is faring against major trading currencies on the foreign exchange market. Now, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in Malawi, ICAM, has questioned how the Malawi government intends to finance the 242 billion kwacha budget deficit in the 2018-2019 fiscal year. Reacting to the budget statement Finance Minister Guro Gondo presented in Parliament 2 weeks ago, ICAM has expressed worry over the failure by the local Chancellor of Exchequer to balance expenditure with available resources. We have the detail in this report.
In a statement signed by the Institute's President, Henry Joawa, ICAM noted that the budget was supposed to break even. The accountants wondered how the deficit would be financed and questioned whether, as a country, we should be budgeting for the deficit. ICAM says the projected deficit poses significant risks on desired levels for interest rates and other economic fundamentals. The accountants also says the increase in the tax-free income blanket under pay-as-you-earn payee might have consequences on the tax revenue, which could also result in the government borrowing money. The economic think tanks suggest that the tax-free blanket should still be improved further, but in a phrased manner having regard to the tax revenue budget line. They further suggest that the tax-free blanket should be aligned to the minimum wage. On the taxpayer identification number, TIPIN, for salaried employees, ICAM says the efforts cannot bring substantial impact in the economy as the payee is employer-based. The accountants suggest more efforts to be on maximizing the collection of tax from eligible taxpayers and bringing into the tax system profitable statutory corporations which currently do not pay corporate tax. ICAM has also commended the government's plan to procure a new integrated financial management information system, IFMIS, at a cost of 5 billion kwacha. The institution agrees that the new system will enhance speed and security in processing government financial transactions if properly used. However, the accountant says it is not clear if the new system will adequately address the challenges faced by the previous system.
And on that note, we've also come to the end of today's edition of the program Business Time here on Times Television, a magazine program where we bring you major business and economic news stories making headlines. On behalf of the entire production team, my name is William Kumwembe. But always remember, if it doesn't make money, it doesn't make sense. Bye for now.